thoughts on my mind, I can't sleep at night, so I just keep writing. I don't need no help, I don't need opinions, so don't waste my time then. Killing the game and I gotta go ask anybody, they all heard about it. They know when the kid and he's spitting it, know when he getting it, bit and I get in my way. Got this, I like do whatever I say, cause I could go put you on blast. People been mad at me cause I don't follow them back. I'm laughing cause that is so whack. Why they all trying to act like they been bossing when really their boss has been bossing them up? Nobody ever been telling me what I would do when I keep in the cash, right the shit out of luck. I want it more, now I get what I wish. Upgrading now with some pants that I whip. Making 6 figures, don't talk about it. Money ain't shit, it's about how you think. Tired of people who making excuses, then they complain about losing. Tell me about what you been doing, tell me about how you been moving. You ain't got nothing to prove then. I did it all on my own, they looking like all of my clones. I don't be following trends, fuck all the popular clothes. You faking and everyone knows. I just be keeping it real, they thinking that I have to go sign a deal, but really the people just found an appeal. I'm in my own lane and I'm steering the wheel, ayy. It's funny how it goes, funny how it goes. Working every night till the sunrise.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back once again. No False Finishes, the final season, season 6. And we're crossing that finish line. We're getting there. All the way, episode 11. We've had some excellent people this season, but not only have we had the experience, we need to get some of the less experience. We need to get the people just coming into their XCW own. And I wanted to get none other than the enforcer, Jayden Tucker. How you doing, sir?
Doing good. You?
I am great. Glad to have some new blood on the show. We haven't had a new person, quote unquote, for quite some time besides Miano Diaz. So we're going to get right into it. So over the past year or so, XCW has had some trials and tribulations, so to speak. We tried to do the show out at Pat's house in the garage. We named it the Kurt Aston Memorial Arena. The building blew up and the sides blew off, and
that was crazy.
With everything that's went on, you're a relatively new guy, been in XCW a few years. What's the atmosphere for you like in the locker room?
It's good so far. I enjoy it. I enjoy being here.
What do you enjoy most about it?
Just the atmosphere and friendship that I've come to have within XCW.
Because you've become pretty close with a couple people we'll get to in a minute. What was it like for you experiencing the death of someone such as Kurt Aston? How'd that affect you?
It affected me greatly because he was a big part of trying to get me to come out of my head when I'd go into like certain matches, like the Bulldog match. I'll be honest with you, I was terrified of it because I've never been in one. He just said, stay calm and just trust yourself and trust me, and we'll get through it.
Kurt Aston always being a motivator for a lot of new people, whether it be the referees or, like you said, yourself in general. Also, when it comes to like not a lot of people like to chain wrestle and stuff like that. If someone's interested, Kurt Aston was always one willing to jump in the ring with the new guys. We alluded to, you've said one of the best things you liked about XCW is the friendship and the quote-unquote brotherhood atmosphere, so to speak. You've came pretty close with a couple people in XCW, and I'm alluding to DJ Walbert and referee Festus. Kind of go into like how you guys became so close and stuff like that.
When I first got involved with XCW, I had watched it on YouTube, and then I messaged DJ. I'm like, where's this at? How can I get involved with it? And he told me Cemetery Center, but that's where he last was at.
Yeah.
And he said, just come out and enjoy it and see what you think of it, and then just let me know. So that's a big how I got into it. And then Festus, being friends with him, just came natural of being here, doing some of the matches, and then just working with him in the ring as a referee. So it's really...
A lot of people, when they come into XCW, they either come in, they stay, or they usually come in and leave and don't come back. You had an interesting journey, so to speak, when it comes to XCW. You actually came in, you were in an accident, and you went out the door, but you came back and kind of explain what happened.
My first trial with XCW, I was supposed to do some training but I had a paper out when I first came in. I got in a bad accident. Me and my cousin was doing a paper out, and we hit like 3 or 4 deers going about 60 miles per hour. It came to a sudden stop. I didn't have a seatbelt on at the time, and I actually had hit my head on the dashboard, which really messed me up, and it messed my back up really bad.
Did you get any deer jerky from that?
No, I wish.
No deer jerky. What's the favorite match that you have seen so far in XCW? It doesn't necessarily have to be a Jayden Tucker match. It can be a Jayden Tucker match, but just overall, the favorite match you've had the chance to see.
Winds of Change, I believe it was the first one. Correct me if I'm wrong. Jesse and Hayden Vex, I believe, was the first one.
First one for Jesse's first ever world title. What did you like so much about that match specifically?
The storytelling, and for fans, me watching it as a fan, it was a terror jerker to see Jesse actually finally win the world title after going through everything with Winds of Change. It really was amazing just to see it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know, but Jesse Justice had a leave of absence. I forget who did it. It was probably Brain Hops. He hurt his leg or his knee, and he took a leave of absence. I'm going to venture a guess and say around 09. So Jesse was gone for a while, and if he probably would have stayed, when we originally talked about pushing Jesse, I was one of the big people that was behind to push Jesse specifically, and came up with I didn't come up with the Grotto match name, but I came up with the idea or whatever. But we wanted to see if Jesse could make or break, and winning the world title, getting that really feel good moment. Not only special for you, but special for Jesse, everybody that was been with Jesse for a long time. So I can definitely agree. What's the favorite match you've been in now? Let me guess. New Age Championship win?
Yeah. It was a special for me because of my first single titles. So I was happy for it. I was glad I got that.
And that was between you, speaking of Jesse Justice, Jesse Justice, JJ Kelty, I believe?
Yes.
And what did you enjoy most about that match?
Just the experience, because I've worked with both of them a few different times, and it just felt natural to be in the ring with them. So I really enjoyed feeling like it was all natural.
Gotcha. So, explain how the Enforcer character kind of came about.
Alright, so I was working with another company, Emerge, and I just got tired of it. I wanted to do in-ring, but I was doing security. So around the time COVID popped up, I had messaged Fletch, and I was like, I want to come back, but it's I don't know really what to do, but I'm wanting to come back. So I threw him a few names to I can do the Enforcer for, and I mentioned Brenda Stickle, and that wasn't going to work. So I threw another one, Evan Phoenix, and that was stuck.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little more about Evan Phoenix here in a minute. What's the worst weapon shot you've seen so far?
Anything within the Winds of Change match. Everything with that had a freaking sting.
You've been in XCW for a while, and you think the weapon shots in the Winds of Change were the worst ones you've seen?
I think so far.
Let me allude to some of the weapon shots that you've been able to see. And I'm not discounting, this is your opinion. You got to see a TV between Fletch and Tommy. You got to see the kendo shots with Brady and Brogan. You got to see Brady's dumbass punch a wall. I mean, the wall's technically a weapon. You got to see a weed eater. But Winds of Change, that's a first. As we alluded to, you had a big part with a big thing going on with Evan. And a lot of people might harp on you for the times that you mess up and stuff like that. But you and Evan had excellent storytelling in that feud. Kind of explain your experience with the feud, which ultimately, like we said, Evan's bodyguard, you helped him win the proverbial overtime. Evan blames you for messing up. You get thrown into certain spots, ultimately you get over as the baby and you throw his ass out in Extreme King, and then you get the big payoff at the end and get the win. Explain that experience.
The experience was good so far up until Evan decided to be a cunt to me and started blaming me for a lot of stuff that wasn't my fault. So once it started getting up to where he started to blame me, it's like, please, can I just rip your head off?
Yeah.
And eventually I got, that started happening when I eliminated him at Extreme King, so that felt good. I knew right then and there that eventually I'm going to rip this dude's head off, and I just can't wait to be able to do it and basically beat the fuck out of him as if I could.
Yeah. And like we said, you got that big payoff, got that good guy pop, and over time you've slowly progressed into your own with, you know, the gear, being able to get in tune with the fans and stuff like that. So it's something you like to see. A very like a lot of people when they watch wrestling, they just want to see, you know, the big flashy moves. Don't get me wrong. You know, Chris Jones loves the big flashy moves. You know, when I would always come up with a new move, I'd look at like the top 10 most dangerous finishers. Like, that's an LOL move. That's a Chris Jones move. We'll do them. But something me and Fletch like a lot is the excellent storytelling aspect. And a lot of people don't know, but it was Evan's idea for you to throw him out at Extreme King. Did you actually know that?
Not at first,
Yeah.
but at that show I kind of was getting the feeling that it was planned for me to.
Yeah, Evan was pushing for you to get that big turn, and it was Evan's idea for you to actually throw, and he planned it like he talked to Josh like a couple months ahead of time, like even before Extreme King. So it was Evan paying it forward, so to speak, doing the good veteran move. And with that, we're going to our first commercial break.
To
weighing in at 310 pounds, from North Vernon, the enforcer, Jayden Tucker!
Second win. Yeah, but calculated this.
Phoenix, maybe miscalculated. He's never really been on the receiving end too much. Oh, but look, no, he's got him in some sort of submission. Look at this.
Body scissors.
He's really locking it in there.
Oh, victim.
Listen to it. He looks like he's about to start crying. He's far away.
Battle out of the game. Reach.
He taps. He's finally beat it.
Jayden the enforcer, Tucker!
We're back, and who's helped you out the most of your time in XCW? You alluded at the beginning of the episode of Genocide helping you a lot, which is a common answer. Outside Kurt Acid, who else has helped you, whether it be in-ring skills, coming to your own as the enforcer, Jayden Tucker, but who's helped give you that knowledge?
Corley has helped me a lot because I know there was a period in my career with XCW I was big into submissions. I still am, and I've always tried to go to Corley for like new submissions, just trying to get a feel because I know he was one of the big submission guys. So he's helped me with some of the submissions, like Hell's Gate is one that I've learned from him trying to teach me how to do it. So he's a big one.
Pretty much with the passing of Genocide, Corey Lee, like I've always proclaimed Genocide as the excellence of sexecution, the submission expert. Corey Lee kind of taking over that mantle these days. What kind of match do you want to have at SummerMania? Like, what is Jayden Tucker's like ideal SummerMania specific match?
A TLC match for the hardcore title.
TLC match for the heart. That's interesting. I know the cameraman will either nod or not. I don't think there's ever been a TLC match for a hardcore title in any company ever. It's actually interesting. How bad was it to recoup from your injuries for that car wreck that you mentioned?
It was bad. It took me about a year to fully recover.
Do you still feel like lasting effects at all or anything from the car wreck? Because I know obviously, wrestling takes a toll on your body, so it might be hard to distinguish between lingering effects from the car wreck versus being in the ring.
I really don't know because like you said, it varies with the car wreck and then the wrestling.
One thing Chris Jones is synonymous with outside TLC matches is EBW. And in 2013 and 14, around that era, EBW was huge. And possibly ending XCW forever. With as much as I myself live, breathe, eat, sleep EBW, if EBW returned, which would obviously be the heels, you being a face, could we see a Jayden Tucker flip join EBW?
Never say never.
Never say never. You and I have never had any in-ring interactions. We've had a couple promos. A lot of people talk about the promo with Evan Phoenix and the injured shoulder. You were actually in that promo, but I was FaceTiming Evan in the promo. It was pretty funny. What kind of in-ring interaction with Chris Jones would Jayden Tucker like to be able to experience? It could be wrestling match, just being able to go back and forth on the mic.
Maybe a submission match with you.
A submission match with me? Well, let me tell you something, brother. I'm just kidding. I'm retired.
Oh, come on.
Chris Jones don't have many submissions. I think I might have, obviously the Walls of Jones, which is play on the Boston Crab. I might have done a crossface once or twice throughout the years, figure four, but you definitely would have the advantage there, especially with the experience from Corey Lee. But I'll tell you this, if there's anybody that knows how to escape those submissions, of all the years I've had with Genocide, this guy right here. Is there anybody in XCW that Jayden Tucker does not like, hate, or care for?
Right now, not really. I mean, I may not get along with a few of the guys, but I mean, it's no hate.
No hate, all love. Speaking of hating, earlier on I alluded to the fact that you're still relatively new, only like a few years in XCW, so you face a lot of criticism. Does that criticism motivate you to get better?
It does. Sometimes I have to put just the negativity that sometimes I feel from it out, and then just try and focus on the positive of it.
Because I remember I had Patrick O'Reilly, I think, in season 5, and he said some of the harsh criticism kind of affected him and made him want to quit at times. Has Jayden Tucker ever thought about hanging it up? Still a little question from free time interviews here. Hanging up the tights, the trunks, the shoes.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the worst XCW wrestler of all time? It can be, a lot of people have been saying some new people. I know a lot of people don't have experience. Well, it can be anybody, even like, I know you've watched some XCW before you got here, so like it can be anybody, past, present, that you think is the worst of all time.
When I first got here, I thought Pat wasn't the best, but I think he's proved it a little bit. But there's one guy I'm so glad he never fully made it onto camera. The guy, he goes by Garrett.
Good old gay rat. You're not the first person to mention Garrett. I was actually, before I came to record your episode today, I was sitting at home on the YouTubes, and I was going through my subscriptions. I'm like, oh, XCW All Access YouTube channel posted a video of Festus drinking the lemon juice. And I'm watching this like minute 30 video thinking, God, I just hate Garrett's face. I should say strongly dislike. I don't hate nobody, but his face was kind of starting to piss me off. Who do you think's the best wrestler of all time?
Ooh. It'd be a mashup between Fletch and Corey Lee.
Two of the common answers. Who have you not wrestled with that you would like to have the chance to? Or, you can also give me an answer, who have you wrestled that you want to wrestle again?
I've only faced him once at a Ground Zero. That was Corey Lee.
Yeah. Who would you want to wrestle that you've not wrestled yet? Anybody.
It'd be a hell of a match with you.
Why? Because I'd backflip that SRE. Now, let me not get Jayden Tucker's moves confused. It's not the SRE. The back elbow. What's that called?
That is the stag box. The SRE is a double unhook DDT.
Yeah. I'll spike the fucking SRE. I was actually teaching Brady Branson last year how to spike and not kill himself. Even though he'd probably just try to kill himself anyways. What would it mean to you to, like, obviously you don't think that you deserve it, but like say Fletch, which everybody knows outside XCW is the true XCW owner off camera. Fletch gets a wild hair up his ass and puts the world title on Jayden Tucker. What's that mean for Jayden Tucker?
It would mean a lot. It would mean that I've finally proved a lot of naysayers, non-believers wrong, that I finally did it. And if Josh actually put the title on me, that'd be very shocking.
If you've ever watched a Jayden Tucker match, there's a couple times where you have, how would I phrase this? Seemed like you got hurt a little easily. I I can't name specific matches because I'm just drawing a blank. Are you prone to being hurt easily?
I think with some things like my shoulder, it's always giving me trouble, and knees have given me trouble. So I think those two are the main things that would get injured really quick.
Because I know you've taken, like I said, I can't remember exact matches. There's too much fucking XCW knowledge in my brain. But there's a couple times where you took some bad bumps. I know one time you had the wind knocked out of you and stuff. Do you aspire to one day be in the XCW Hall of Fame, or does that even mean anything to Jayden Tucker?
I would like to be in the Hall of Fame.
What would it mean to one day in the future? Because obviously, I'll just tell you, you have ways to go. But one day, if you made it into the Hall of Fame, what would that mean to the Jayden Tucker legacy?
It would mean a lot. It would mean that I finally have accomplished a big major goal in my career and in my life that I wanted to do.
Because there's a lot of people, especially people from the past and present, that, in my opinion, deserve to be in the Hall of Fame that have not made it yet. Obviously, if you've ever watched previous seasons of No False Finish, Chris Jones is a big proponent for Justin Parsley to be in the Hall of Fame. Robert Edwards has been on the ballot for like 1,000 years and will never get voted in. But Robert Edwards deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. People such as the DMX, the Disciples, the Azraels, present people such as like the Bradys, the Lawrences, the Brogans, which are heading in that direction. So there's a lot of people that would join people like Fletch, Cynicals, Chris Joneses, the Carnages, the Hazards, people of the past. So to me, being in the Hall of Fame is probably one of the biggest accomplishments you can get. And I've always said I don't like the VCAs, but there's 2 awards that Chris Jones does like at the VCAs. And that's the Honor Award, which was recently changed. I know I'm going to say the name wrong, to the Kurt Acid Honor Award. I guess I said it right. Kurt Acid Honor Award. And then there's also, obviously, the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame means a lot. Fun fact, we mentioned EBW. Only 2 people exist in the EBW Hall of Fame. Do you know who those people are?
Who?
Fletch being, inducted by myself on No False. Why? Because I can. And the game. You can book any match you want. Glory's coming up. I know it's pretty much the whole card's already booked, obviously. But Jayden Tucker gets to pick whatever he wants at Glory. Past roster, present roster, what match. You get to book it. What are you booking?
I'm booking a TLC.
For the hardcore title?
Nope.
Okay.
World title against Chris Jones and Fletch.
Well, let me tell you something, Cameron. I'm just kidding. I'm retired. That would be a great match. I've actually never wrestled Fletch in a ladder match outside Money in the Bank, so that would be interesting. But I think even if Chris Jones could be talked into wrestling again, which no, the Fletch and the Chris Joneses are a match of the past, and something Fletch has done really well with, and even my last match being with Brogan, we're kind of in the means of getting the new guys over. Fletch did the job, so to speak, and did the thing with Hunter Halkin. I did the job, so to speak, with Brogan, and I could have done it with the Bradys, the Lawrences, and all that stuff. So, but a TLC match with Fletch for the world title would be interesting. Maybe an EBW world title. Maybe unify EBW XCW. Who knows? Last question. Same thing I ask everybody to close out the show. You are relatively new in XCW, so you've got to experience the new guy jitters, coming in, new company, not really knowing anybody. Obviously, you mentioned DJ kind of helped you get in. You got advice to give to any new people that want to come in and wrestle, want to come in and ref, cameraman, just any new advice for anybody that wants to be involved in XCW? How should they go about it?
For me, it was really hard until I was able to kind of make a friend within the company. So if you have a way to get into it and you want to do it, try it, contact somebody within the company, and see what you feel about it.
And to help alleviate or get rid of some of the new guy jitters, explain to them why it's not quite so bad.
As long as you got friends and you can hang out with them and kind of talk to them about the new guy jitters, it kind of helps a little bit.
A lot of people get intimidated kind of quick, coming into a new environment. Especially you might see like I can only imagine if a new guy walked in and seen me give Hunter Houken the vertebraker a couple of shows ago, like they might walk right back out. But like he says, we're a pretty welcoming group of people for the most part. As long as you can stay committed to the schedule, I think is probably the big thing for most of you people. But that's all for Season 6, Episode 11. The Enforcer, Jayden Tucker, the franchise player, Christian. Join us when we come back for another special episode. Wow.
Too many thoughts on my mind, I can't sleep at night, so I just keep writing. I don't need no help, I don't need opinions, so don't waste my time then. Killing the game and I gotta go ask anybody, they all heard about it. They know when the kid and he's spitting, they know when he getting it, better not get in my way. Got this, I like do whatever I say, cause I could go put you on blast. People been mad at me cause I don't follow them back. I'm laughing cause that is so whack. Why they all trying to act like they been bossing when really their boss has been bossing them up? Nobody ever been telling me what I would do when I keep in the cash, right the shit out of luck. I want it more now, I get what I wish. Upgrading now with the bands that I whip. Making 6 figures, don't talk about it. Money ain't shit, it's about how you think. Tired of people who making excuses, then they complain about losing. Tell me about what you been doing, tell me about how you been moving. You ain't got nothing to prove then. I did it all on my own, they looking like all of my clones. I don't be following trends, fuck all the popular clothes. You faking and everyone knows. I just be keeping it real, they thinking that I have to go sign a deal. But really the people just found an appeal. I'm in my own lane and I'm steering the wheel, ayy. It's funny how it goes, funny how it goes. Working every night till the sunrise.